Hey guys, this is AI Gaming 1776, and today we're looking at Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor running on a GTX 745 by NVIDIA. Now, if you look over on the left, it shows the video options. We are full screen, 1920 by 1080. It shows you right there that it is an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 745, and I have Vsync off. In the right hand corner, there's MSI Afterburner with the green numbers, and then there are yellow numbers in the upper right hand corner. All this is in the right hand corner, but in the very rightmost corner is a fraps counter. I know it clashes a little bit, but it kind of works once you get used to it. All right, so the 745 has 4 gigs of RAM, and we're using almost 2.4 gigs of the RAM right now, the VRAM. Down at the bottom, where it says RAM, that's my system RAM, which this game is using about 4 gigs of system RAM right now. The game is at 1080p. It's running at about 30 frames per second. I have 2 frame rate counters, one from Afterburner and one from Fraps. They're both going. And then you can see the CPU core usage. I'm using a Core i7 4790. All right, let's go to advanced options. These are the options I found that look the best with this card and get you as close to 30 frames per second as possible. Lighting is medium, mesh is medium, anti-aliasing is FXAA, no motion blur. Shadow quality is medium, texture filtering is medium, texture quality is high, ambient occlusion is low, vegetation range is low, and then tessellation is on. So I'm very pleased that I can have ambient occlusion of any kind, tessellation, FXAA, and high quality for the texture. Texture quality is on high. Now it goes from high to ultra. There is no very high, so that's the second best you can do for texture. So like I said, I'm pretty pleased with it. So let's look at the game, because I actually think on the 745 at 30 frames per second it looks good. Now, I mean, really good. This is one of those games that's all brown, so it doesn't it's not dynamic. It's not like there's a lot of greens and whatever and lushness in the landscape. It is one of those all brown games. There's a little bit of screen tearing. Vsync is off, but the screen tears even with Vsync on in this game. Now, despite the screen tearing and despite the fact that the frame rate is anywhere from the low 20s to the low 30s, it's still pretty playable. And the character model looks pretty darn good on a GTX 745. I was impressed. So look, the game's responsive, it's fluid, we're in the low 30s. I will tell you that this game, even in the 30 frames per second realm, feels and pops almost like it's 60 frames per second, because normally you have to go 60 frames per second before you get the pop. Like, his sword is popping, there's detail in the middle of that sword that you can see. Like, usually to really get the pop, to get that contrasting picture that looks so nice, you have to have 60 frames per second. You kind of get that at 30 frames per second in this game, so I'm impressed. My controller's shaking, so there must be like a giant down. Oh my god, there is. Look, I don't know how to kill that thing. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not even gonna deal with it. I've never fought one of those before, and I'm scared of it. I'm not even afraid to tell you that I'm scared of whatever's down there. Alright, see, the lighting's really good. We're in the high 30s for the frame rate right now. I'm gonna tell you that at here, let me do some stealth. Oop, here he comes. He saw me. I'm gonna tell you this: the frame rate's normally not this high, and I don't know what it is about when I go to make videos. This is kind of a thing that's been happening lately. This happened with the Far Cry video I just made for the GTX 745. Normally Far Cry is like 30 frames per second on the GTX 745, and for whatever reason it was in the 40s when I made the video, and right now I'm playing and it's in the 30s. I made a practice video of this earlier, and it was in the 20s. It was not in the 30s like this. Because these settings, I mean, they're kind of ballsy for a 745. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm using ambient occlusion, tessellation, high quality texture frame rate. Not texture frame rate, but texture quality is on high. So I'm kind of surprised that it's in the 30s. But even with screen tearing, even being in the 30s, it's playable. It really is. Now, I've gotten in trouble before because I've said games are not playable on the GTX 745, and I have amended my stance on what I consider to be playable now. But by anyone's definition, this is playable, and it even looks pretty good. Now, there is screen tearing, though, okay? The screen is tearing. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that the image is 100% perfect, because it's not. But it's still fluid and responsive. And that affects playability, especially with an action game like this. So I am very, 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 very impressed. Seriously? I kind of have trouble with this game. I think Batman was a little bit simpler, because obviously people were going to compare this to the Arkham games. I think the Arkham games are a little simpler. This guy does all kinds of extra stuff. I'm still getting used to it. But look, you can see the fur. The fur is popping. And then again, this game is a game of browns, but the various browns that make up his armor are still distinctive and pop. And some of them even shimmer a little bit, as if the game is running MSAA, and the game is not running MSAA. It's FXAA. So I'm impressed. This is pretty good looking. Even, like, I want to say it's good looking for a 745, but it's good looking, period. Now, what makes that interesting is I have a GTX 970, and I haven't played this game on the 970 yet, because I put my 745 in last week. Oh, this is going to be one of those guys that tries to murder me. This is only like the third guy like this that I fought so far. And of course he's surrounded by a bunch of goons. He doesn't have the courtesy to just take me on by himself. Come on, buddy. Yeah, I'm doing like simple attacks. I'm sure there's way more complicated stuff to do in the game. But I've only unlocked one thing so far. I unlocked the thing where when I counter people, it stuns them. Which I thought, like, for the first thing that I unlocked was pretty smart. Because, look, it's coming in handy against all these guys. Yeah, so that's the only thing I've unlocked so far. This is a ton of guys, man. Y'all might see my demise. I don't know, we'll see. Look at that, it stunned all of those guys. That's pretty cool. That's useful. Now, I've read that this game is a one-trick pony. That it's just combat only, you know, there's no real other reason to play it. I've read the story is serviceable. Some people think the story is good. It's definitely, supposedly not bad. I wonder if I can kill this guy. Because screw the retreating. Yeah, that guy's trying to get out of here. Where is he? Oh no, is this another? Yeah, this is Douche. Douche killed me earlier. You know, I'm gonna run. Alright, I'm gonna retreat now. Douche killed me earlier because he had that crossbow. So while you're trying to deal with his group of minions, he's hitting you with ranged attacks. So, yeah. I'm not going to deal with Douche the Tongue right now. So yeah, there's the little bit of sunlight you get in this game, but it'll glint off your sword. I mean, this looks really good for a 745. If the screen was not tearing, if the game did not have screen tear, even with Vsync on, so we've been playing the whole time in the 30s with Vsync off. Let's turn it on real quick. Send video. So even with Vsync on, it still has screen tearing. And now we're like right at 30. Go back in the sun. Hello, sun. So There's less screen tearing with Vsync on, sure, but it still tears. But this is fluid. Look at this. Like, I am definitely controlling the camera and the guy, which is pretty cool. What did I do earlier? I was doing something with the settings earlier, and it was unplayable. Like I said, I made a practice video earlier, and the frame rate was like 12 or 15 or something. I forget what settings I changed to make that happen. So yeah, this looks pretty good. If you want me to, let me see, can I change the AA without restarting the game? Because the thing is, this is one of those games where you have to restart it. Oh wow, FXAA is the only AA you get. So it's a good thing it's a good one, right? Because it's the only one you get. There is no MSAA. Unless they locked it out because of this graphics card, but I don't think so. I mean, Ultra Textures wasn't locked out. So FXAA and camera blur, object blur. So FXAA and camera and object blur. Yeah. Now I'm going to have FXAA. That's interesting. So that means that the 745 is running high texture quality and, for all intents and purposes, what seems to be the highest anti-aliasing you can do in the game. That's pretty cool. If for some reason I'm wrong about that, I'll put it in the info box, but I'm pretty sure I'm right, because like I told you, this looks good. The guy pops. I mean, like, this stuff over here is ugly. Alright? This box, it still glints, though. It glistens, like it has a shine to it. The sunlight glints off of it. But that's like an Xbox 360 box right there. I mean, that looks like PS3 quality, the boxes. But the character model here, I've not played this on the new consoles, but I would not be surprised if that looks better than Xbox One or PS4. And I bring that up because I've been very critical of the GTX 745. Because whether it's fair for me to do so or not, I have compared it to current gen consoles. And the reason I've done that is I've been told time and time again that PC gaming is so much better than console gaming, and when I got into PC gaming, I decided that I want my experience to be better than whatever it is on console. Now, normally I prefer 60 frames per second, and what I'm hoping is that I will get 60 frames per second when I put my GTX 970 back in here. That's what I'm hoping, but this looks pretty darn good. Vsync's on, and the screen still tears. It just tore right now. But, yeah, this looks pretty good. I'm pretty sure anything I do to it, I'm going to have to restart the game. I was going to put it on Ultra Textures. But, let me see. Let me see if there's anything that I can change without having to restart the game. Down at the bottom it says, this setting requires the game to restart. This setting requires... Okay, I can change that. I can change the blur. Oh, I can change the shadow quality without restarting. I can change the texture filtering. Let's go to high texture filtering. Let's apply that. Oh, wait a minute. That should be fine. That should be fine. Let's try high. That looks pretty darn good, guys. That looks pretty darn good. Like, his belt looks really nice. His buckles look extra shiny. Still screen tear. Just moving the camera around causes screen tearing. And like I said, usually when I play this game at 1080p, it actually plays in the 20s. Like 24, 22, 28 frames per second. So, I'm getting... See, 28 now. So, I'm getting... pretty close to 30 frames per second now, but remember, I might not always get that. Your mileage may vary. Oh man, this dude's got a crossbow. Oh, is this my... Oh, this is douche. This is douche. Yeah, I might have to run away from douche again. Because like I said, what happens is, you try to fight douche. Well, you try to fight his minions, because you can't ignore them. And then he starts hitting you with his bow. So what I'm trying to do is, my goal is to stay over by douche. Oh, I'm about to die. About to die. Yep, I'm about to die. I'm about to die. I don't know what's happening. I really don't know what's... I don't understand this tutorial. So I need to... Why? Awesome. Can I run away? Hey guys, I'm trying to demo the graphics to my viewers here. Can I just run away? Oh crap. Yeah, see? This is what happened the last time I tried to fight Douche. That looks pretty good, though. Seriously. Shadow of Mordor has this reputation for being such a difficult game to run, but 745's killing it. Obviously, the 4 gigs of VRAM helps. It's using 2.5 gigs right now. Yeah, Douche keeps getting stronger. It's a strong Douche right there. All right, let's see how fast the game loads back up. So we have filtering on high. We have texture quality on high. Look, it went down to 25 frames per second. I told you it's normally 22 to 28. Now look how good this looks. You can see the rain shining on his cloak. This is good looking. Movement's not that not movement, but motion from the camera though is not that great. Okay, the rocks really glisten. You know, have you seen games where the rock textures glisten? Like, it looks good. 745 ain't no joke. When it comes to this game, I'm very, very impressed. Let's see if we can turn up one more thing. Alright? See if we can get one more little goodie in the Halloween bag before we call it a day. That's high. I had ambient occlusion higher earlier, and it made the lighting overwhelming. It actually didn't make things better. Oh, you got to restart the game for mesh. Okay, for shadow. Where's shadow? Because you don't have to restart the game for that. Let's see if we can do high shadows. All right. We're still at 28 frames per second. The camera is a little clunkier. Alright. I do not... There we go. Hey guys. Can you help me demo this game? Thanks. Now, I wonder what I gotta do to be better at big groups of people. I think I'm fine as long as people don't show up with crossbows. I think that's really what hemmed me up earlier. See if we can take out this group. See, now, this is a game that you would think a so-called lower frame rate would make more difficult to play. And maybe it does once the game gets more challenging. I'm only at like level 2 or something, I think. Or maybe I'm at level 4. There's a 4 on the bottom of the screen. I don't know. I'm not an expert on the character progression of this game. But I do know, like, I have not done anything for the plot. I've not done a single story mission yet. So, yeah, alright, check it out. I beat these guys. I increased the shadow quality. I don't think it looks better. I think it actually... See, that's the thing about games. Sometimes picking a higher quality setting doesn't always mean you're going to get a better image, better graphical fidelity. I don't know that I like the shadow quality being higher. I feel like some of the intricacies in the clothing are not as apparent now. But I could be wrong. It's also raining and it's dark out. But the point is for you to know, from a benchmark point of view, that yeah, it's still playable. It's at 28 frames per second right now, but it's still playable, even with shadows on high. I know you can't just put the preset on high, and I'll show you that you cannot, because I did that before and it was like 18 frames per second. So go to advanced options, set a custom, let's do high, right? Apply it. Right now we got to restart the game. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you that this will not work. And if I'm wrong, then you know, whatever. But I'm telling you, like, it normally does not work. So See if the game will launch. By the way, any of those games on my desktop there, if you want me to benchmark them, let me know. Some of them I already have. So go through my channel, please, and look and see if I have. But if I have not. Now, I mean, I'll probably try... What's the word? I'll probably try to be accommodating anyway. But some of the games, it's going to be obvious, like Crysis 3. It's going to be kind of obvious that that game is not going to do terribly well with a 745. Although some people have said it can. Alright, so we restarted the game on the high preset, on the high graphical preset. After this, I'm going to show you one more thing. Wow, it looks nice, but look, we're at 23 frames per second just standing still. But not, oh man, that is beautiful. That is actually very freaking beautiful. But it's 23 frames per second when you do nothing. No, it looks nice. I'm not going to front. When you move the camera, it looks terrible. It's got camera blur on and object blur. Let's turn that off. All right, so look, we're talking, it's the high preset. Okay, I'm not cheating. It's the high preset, but I am going to turn camera blur off, okay? But I'm not cheating. It's still the high preset minus camera blur. It still doesn't look that great. But I don't like blur. That's one reason why I like PC over console. I wish consoles had the option to turn off blur. No, even the everything just has like some nice sparkle to it. Even though it's dirty brown, it still has some sparkles. So let's go fight this guy, or these guys. And stab. Wow, did that really destroy him? It's playable. It's 22 frames per second. It's very clunky. Now, some people do not care, and I know that. There are some PC gamers that do not care how clunky it is and how much it stutters. They just want graphical fidelity. Well, let me tell you, the GTX 745 is playing Shadow of Mordor. It's very clunky. It is so clunky. But the graphical fidelity is pretty darn good. It's at 21 frames per second. But like I said, this is like better than usual, because earlier when it was doing better than when we were getting like 34 frames per second earlier, normally that runs at 28. So here, I'm gonna go fight this big dude. But look, we're using 1.6, almost 1.7 gigs of VRAM. We're using 4.1 gigs of system memory. This card is working at 1033 megahertz at 73 degrees Celsius. This thing is probably going to murder me. Wow, I can't even aim. Come on, man. Be a better archer than this. Oh, you can't shoot any arrows without elf shot. That's pretty stupid. I mean, I thought elf shot was like the slowdown thing. I hit your knees. And he kills me. Alright, so he got me. That's the high preset. It's playable. It's not awesome, but it is playable. This has been AI Gaming 1776, GTX 745, Shadow of Mordor. The darn thing is playable on a GTX 745. I'm impressed. So hopefully this video is helpful to you guys. And thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the whole thing. We're at 24 minutes right now, so thank you. Oh, let's look at the lighting real quick. The lighting looks really good. This looks good, guys. It's chunky and clunky, though, okay? It's stuttering. Here's the thing that makes this game playable. It's still responsive. Even though it's stuttering and it's clunky, it's still responsive. So, but yeah, it's clunky. Don't think this is perfect, because it is not. Alright, oh, we're down to 20 frames per second. Alright, this is AI Gaming 1776, Shadow of Mordor. Thanks for watching, guys. Y'all.